pitch black, no sidewalks, almost got attacked by a dog, but we made it. We made it. So you're thinking about going to the Bahamas and you need some tips on how to book your trip, as well as some highlights on some good activities to do. Well, I got you. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about going to the Bahamas. So this video is going to be done in two parts. Part one is going to be about booking my trip and the details and tips on how you can make your trip successful. Part two is some highlights about what I enjoyed about the trip, some things you should keep in mind, and then, maybe like a little mini vlog on what the experience was like for me in the Bahamas. So let's get into it. So we went to Nassau, Bahamas in early January, and here are some tips if you're planning to go. All right, so first things first, these are some of the key things I did to make sure I had a successful trip. Number one, book your flight. Like, you gotta do that early and soon. You wanna go ahead and get that out of the way, because the sooner you book your flight, the less expensive it is. This is not one of those trips where you can wait, it might dive down, none of that. You wanna get that out the way, because when we booked our trip in October, the flights were about $500. Every month someone waited, it went up like $100. And for those who waited till last minute, the flight was like $850. So you don't want to do that. Go ahead, do that before you even book your stay. Number two is book your stay and connect with your host. So I booked through Airbnb. We got a nice villa, absolutely beautiful. This is the villa we stayed in, and I instantly got connected with our Airbnb host. He gave me tips on activities to do, things in the area, how to book our driver, because out to our Airbnb host for hooking us up. And these are some of the things that he provided us with to make sure that our trip went smooth. Third thing I did for my Bahamas trip is we booked a driver, because in the Bahamas there's no Uber, there's no Lyft. They rely on taxis, and you kind of want to have in mind whether you're going to be in a good area to get taxis regularly, or if you want a driver to go ahead and take you around the island. We opted for the driver route, but as mentioned, our Airbnb host had shared his preferred driver with us, and it was a seamless process. Like, when I tell you, this driver was perfect. He was convenient. We sent him our itinerary in advance, but he was also flexible. So if we gave him like an hour or two notice, he would be able to pick us up sooner or later, and we were able to add like trips to our itinerary for, getting around. Honestly, book your flight, book your driver, connect with your host, and then lastly, plan and schedule activities. So when it came to activities, we booked our activities about 2 months in advance. You don't even have to pay when you book these activities. You can book them and then you can pay right before the activity, or you can pay when you book. We decided to wait to pay until we got there for our activities, in case we changed our mind and wanted to cancel any of them. And then also, it was just too easy to book things. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We sent a poll in the chat. Everyone voted on what activities made sense, and that's kind of how we planned our trip. So it's pretty easy. You can use, I think there's Viator, GetyourGuide, different sites like that are pretty reputable, and you can go ahead and book in advance. So it makes everything so much easier. So that's the quick and dirty version of booking your trip. Honestly, not too many details needed there. It's just a good way to get you started. So if you do want to go to Nassau, there are options on how you can get your trip started. You can do a resort. There's tons of resorts in Nassau. It's pretty easy to do. But for our situation, we kind of all wanted to be in the same room and in the same place and have the ability to move about the cabin comfortably. So we decided to do a villa, but we also thought about doing a resort. Looking back, I love that we did a villa. I would definitely do a resort, because I also love a resort. I've done a resort before, and either option's pretty good. I would say a resort is better for a smaller group, and a villa is better for a larger group. You have the privacy of the whole vicinity to yourself, and then there's a lot of villas that have different options and views. Our villa was right on the beach, and then we had visibility to the beach, and it was absolutely stunning. Weigh your pros and cons, and just at the time, a villa made the most sense for us. But yeah, you don't even have to book a trip to Nassau to experience it. You can also do a cruise, and a lot of cruises actually stop in the Bahamas. So you could do excursions through a cruise as well. I do recommend going though. The Bahamas in general is absolutely beautiful. We did go through a few things while we were there, but we're gonna get to that in the second part of this video, which I think we're about to get into. The second part of this video goes through my experience so here are some headlines on what it was like. Number one, everything closes at 5 p.m. Like, because of the way the cruise system works, majority of the island closed at 5 p.m. Especially if you're like in the touristy areas, like grocery stores, bars, clubs, activities, shopping, no matter what, it closed at 5 p.m. So make sure you get all your touristy activities in way before then. I remember one day, I think it was Sunday, we tried to go to Senior Frogs and it closed, y'all. It closed literally at 4:15. They were like, yeah, we're not taking any more tables. So actually make sure you do your events before then, because people are ready to go to bed. They clock out and they go home. And you don't want to miss out on getting any goodies, anything you want, because after the ships leave, they're like, we're done for the day. But on the bright side, there's other things to do after 5 p.m. Just the bulk of the island runs prior to 5. Number two, people are so friendly there. In this part, I'm gonna include some clips of how friendly people were. Like, when I tell you, they treated my birthday like it was their birthday. They were phenomenal. Everywhere we went, people made it a huge scene that it was my birthday. Like, they would cut on the music for me, birthday songs for me. They would shout me out. They put my name on a banner. They would make everyone around me know it was my birthday. Like, they really treated me so well for my birthday. I would totally recommend this place as a birthday trip. Like, some places will do few things here and there, but like in the Bahamas, the people are so friendly and so welcoming that they want you there. Like, they want you to try different foods. They want you to experience different things. They want you to know that like their home is your home, you know? So being in the Bahamas, sometimes when you travel places, people aren't friendly or welcoming. There, they were so friendly and so welcoming, and honestly just so comforting. Like, it felt really good to be there, and the way they treated me on my birthday was phenomenal. Like, there's a few places that I loved, but we did the Travelers Restaurant on night 1. They went out, okay? Like, they got me a birthday shot. They gave me the aux to play some birthday music. They shouted me out on the mic. They even had a band come in later that night. The band sung me 2 happy birthday songs, invited me up on stage, and then they even gave us a private room with some hookah if we wanted to. Like, they really treated me for my birthday. So I would definitely recommend that as a good birthday spot. Number 2 is Bond. Bond is a club. In that club, they were so friendly and so welcoming. Like, they ended up putting my name up on the sign, on the thing, and they were like, oh, we'll give you a discount if you buy a section. We're not buying a section. We're girls. We're beautiful girls. We're not buying no section. So instead, what happened is later on, the manager came up to us and he was like, hey, this high roller just came in town and he just wants pretty girls in his section. You guys want to go over there? He's paying for everything. Just go. And we were like, sure, like, why not? So we went over there. He got us some bottles. He paid for some hookah. We ended up having a vibe. They ended up playing Happy Birthday for me. Ooh. As for my birthday, it was like 10 experience. Like, that's definitely one of my favorite activities that we did. It's expensive. Like, a lot of rich people live in the Bahamas. A fun fact that my Airbnb host told us is that a lot of wealthy people live on the island. I think one of the richest neighborhoods in the world is based in the Bahamas, and a lot of wealthier people live there for tax reasons, is what he explained it. I'm not gonna explain it in full detail because that's not my niche. That's not what we're here for. But things there are full price and even higher than full price. Like, let's say you go to Mexico or Jamaica, things are a portion of the US dollar, right? Currency is the US dollar. But you think you go out to eat and maybe because it's a tropical island, it might be like $15 a meal. No, the meals are $30, $40. It is expensive to travel there. You are not getting any discounts. Everything is gonna be regular price. I think the only place you'll get things a little bit less expensive is the straw market. And even then, a lot of stuff is still regular touristy price. So, but you can bargain. You can negotiate on prices there, which is more convenient than going to like a regular store. But just note that, like, don't expect to save no money when you get there. Like, act like you're traveling to Miami. Act like you're traveling somewhere in the States, because you're spending the States money. You're not budgeting there. You're not saving no money. Just prepare to pay full price for your meals. Like you're going to a very nice dinner every night. You could order some casual like apps, and that meal is still going to be pricey. Cocktails are still $10, $12, $13, $14. So just want to keep that in mind when you're asking. Be prepared for the unexpected. You never know what's going to happen in the Bahamas. It's going to take you. People will come up to you and invite you to do things, and go places and see things. And there's a lot of like unchained dogs or fenced dogs. Dogs just kind of roam about the cabin. And on night 1 in our villa, we were like, in my head, because you know I live in a walkable city, I'm like, it's the restaurant we want to go to is like an 8-minute walk. We could walk that. There's no problem. There should be street lights. We leave the villa, there's no street lights. We're right on the beach. There's no lights. We all have our flash on. There's no sidewalks because it's not walking friendly. So there were no sidewalks. Some areas do have sidewalks. A lot of the touristy places do. But because of the villa we were in, there weren't many sidewalks. No sidewalks, barely any street lights. And then we hear barking, right? My friend's like, oh, it's fine. There's a guard dog. We don't need to worry about a guard dog. You know what guard dogs, we all know what guard dogs' jobs is to do, right? And that means guard, bite, attack, you know, just a few key words. So we're walking and we hear the barking and we're like, pause, like, what is that? Who's coming? You know? And then we see a dog like up on a hill. And we're assuming in our heads, we're like, oh, it has to be fenced in. Like, that's nothing, right? We put our flash up. This thing is literally like snarling, like he is on go. He's at the top of this hill. He looking at us like we are fresh food and he ain't ate in weeks, okay? So we're over here freaking out because this thing looks like it's about to come bite my head off. And I'm like, I'm not dying on my birthday. Y'all not getting bit on my birthday. We need to go home. So I'm like, okay, let's go home. We need to get out of here. This ain't safe no more. And then my friend, who's like an animal whisperer, she was like, you know what? No, we're fine. That dog's not about to do nothing. And I'm like, are you sure that we're fine? Because I don't feel fine right now. And so me and one of my friends, we are like, you know what? We're heading back to the Airbnb. We're not dealing with this. There's a food delivery service. We're gonna just order in some food. Also, little fun fact there. There's a food delivery service called Craven that you can order food from, which is just like DoorDash, but the Bahamas version of that. It works perfect, use it. And then, so some of us like run back to the place. The rest of them are like, you know what, we're gonna stand our ground because apparently you're supposed to stand your ground. I don't care, I don't wanna stand my ground, I'm scared. So we end up running back. And then the lady who owns the dog heard us screaming and panicking. So she comes out and she's like, oh, that dog doesn't do anything. It's fine, na, 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 na. And I'm like, this dog looks hungry. Is he okay? Like, what are we doing? Not to mention it's dark. I flash up my flash. His red eyes are looking at me like, it was terrifying. But we ended up making it to where we had to go. Pitch black, no sidewalks, almost got attacked by a dog. But we made it. We made it. So just be prepared for the unexpected. That's something that can happen that you really wouldn't think would happen. But there's so many other things that you really can't plan for in a trip. And I would just say, honestly, Bahamas is a great place to go with the flow, but it's also a good place to have a few things planned for. Like activities we did the four-wheelers. I forgot what they call those things. But you know, it's like ATVs. We did an ATV around the city. Beautiful. You have to do the ATVs. Like that was probably the highlight of the trip, was where all the different spots that the ATV tour guides took us that were like local as well as like just beautiful to see. So that's one of them. Another thing we did was a dinner cruise. Dinner cruise was lit. I forgot about that dinner cruise, y'all. They played birthday music. They sung me happy birthday. They kept getting us rounds of birthday shots. Like when I tell you, I don't know if they just love like girls, but they were treating us so well everywhere we went. And the birthday cruise was beautiful. Like that was also one of the highlights of my trip. And then another thing that I really loved while we were there was the beach. We had a great day at the beach. Our villa was beautiful. Like if you don't have any plans to go to the Bahamas, please do, like, add it to your list. And I know your travel list is long. You got places to be, girly. But go ahead and add Nassau, Bahamas to the bottom of that list, babes, because you won't regret it. And I definitely don't. The memories that we made while there are gonna be here forever, gonna be in our little shared album forever. All the girls had fun. There were no complaints about it. And if you're planning a birthday trip, I would say this is a good spot to go. Or if you're going on a cruise, make sure that cruise stops in the Bahamas so you can just get a little taste of the city, you know? But thank you guys for watching. I think that's all I have for you today. I hope that you end up planning a trip there, and let me know how that trip goes. Or if I've kind of persuaded you to add it to your itinerary or places to go ahead and comment below if you've ever been to the Bahamas, your favorite memory of the Bahamas, or if you plan to go and if you need some more tips on things to do. But thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.